No, God is blessing us when we're healthy, wealthy, and wise. But hold on before you reach that conclusion, because that's not the conclusion from Golgotha, nor is the conclusion from 650 years earlier with a king named Nebuchadnezzar. Let me just, don't even worry about going there. It's Daniel chapter 3. You know the story of the three worthies, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Those three worthies who stood before the great golden idol image of Nebuchadnezzar, refusing to bow down in worship. They stood faithful in worshiping the God of heaven and earth. Furious, Nebuchadnezzar called them before him. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, he says in verse 19, I'll put it on the screen for you. His attitude toward them had changed. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual. This isn't going to be pretty, boys. We are going to burn you, and we're going to burn you well. They said, no, we don't need to be careful. We don't need a second chance, O king. We are not going to not worship the God of heaven. So terrible was the scene that the soldiers involved in throwing those three worthies into the furnace were stricken by the fire and died at its portal. Verse 25, though Nebuchadnezzar, looking from afar, must have covered his forehead to shield from the heat, he said, look, would you? I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like the son of the gods. That's his language. That's pagan language, just like the Roman soldier, son of the gods. That's their perspective of what a divine being is. They use their language, their point of reference, but they're calling the same thing. In the midst of a fiery furnace, Nebuchadnezzar sees God. We aren't good at suffering. Let me just speak for myself. I don't like it when it hurts. I don't like physical pain, emotional pain any way you turn it. I'll skip it. I find myself resonating a little bit with the man named Sam. Let me read you his letter. He was writing a letter to the love of his life. Her name was Betty. My dearest Betty, he wrote. Some of you have written these letters, no doubt. I love you beyond words. Webster does not have in his dictionary the necessary vocabulary to explain the depth of my love for you. Thoughts of you dance across the portals of my mind. You are my all-consuming passion. So enraptured am I regarding my love for you that the Pacific Ocean would be like a pond if I had to swim it. I could do it as long as I knew you were waiting for me on the other shore. The heat of the Sahara Desert would never impede my progress to you. Know that you would be an oasis that would refresh me when I arrive. There would be no inconvenience I wouldn't endure for you. Climbing Mount Everest would only seem like getting over an ant's hill if I knew you were at the precipice. All I'm simply saying to you, my darling, is that my love for you transcends time and space. Period. Signed, Sam. P.S. I'll see you Saturday night if it's not raining. Yeah. I proclaim that I am all in, all for God. But P.S., as long as there's no inconvenience. P.S., as long as it's not raining. Oh God, I'm all yours. You paid it all, and now I'm going to give you all. I surrender all. P.S., as long as we're not talking about money. P.S., as long as you keep my family healthy. P.S., as long as I don't ever have to suffer. Little P.S. at the bottom of our grand and great declaration. Oh, we're not into the whole no pain, no gain. That's for physical therapists and Olympians. We don't no, that's not for us. A.Z. Tozer. Ooh, he didn't mince words when he scribbled. I'll put it on the screen for you. It is doubtful whether God can bless a man greatly until he has hurt him deeply. What does that mean? What about the blessings of God? What if blessings aren't as we have been told they are? It seems like a really good trick from hell to convince us that if our lives aren't perfect, that God isn't taking care of us. If there's pain or loss or suffering, that God is not there. It seems really good because the devil knows that while we're on this planet and while sin is having its sway, there will be pain and suffering. And so it's a really good cover-up to tell us that when the furnace is heated 7 times hotter, that's because God's abandoned us. It's a really good line, but it's simply not true.